Hey, what is up everybody? So, welcome to Phil's Music Corner, and for my very first video here, I just want to go over some basics of recording, my equipment, and then also I'm going to just show you with basic equipment and a basic setup how you can actually get a pretty good recording and video up on YouTube. Alright, now, so I've been doing YouTube videos for over a decade now. Now, do I have thousands of subscribers or millions of views? Absolutely not. But I do it because I love sharing my music and I just love writing music and putting it out there. And so, again, this video is really for those of you who don't really know where to start, or maybe you've been putting music up on YouTube and just want to learn to get some better quality. So the very first thing that I'm going to cover is just the basic equipment that you need in order to make good YouTube videos. So my recording has actually evolved over the past decade because I learned from my mistakes, or I learned by looking at other people's videos and kind of figure out how they did those things. And so here's just a quick run through of that change. So originally I would just set the camera down, just showing my hands, and then play a song. Well, then I got a little braver. I grabbed a tripod and then I recorded all of me just playing on the piano, if I could find a real piano, or on my digital piano. You're a fool. Well, then I learned the value of recording in a digital audio workstation, or a DAW, as you'll hear referred in the rest of this video. And this is how you ultimately record music onto your computer. And my only goal here was learn to record so I can release some of my music on a CD for my friends and family. So as you can see now, the quality's starting to get a little bit better now that I'm learning a little bit more. Well, then I learned the value of just getting better at recording onto the computer. And that's really where I'm at now. I mean, my sound has evolved over the past few years. That's because I'm learning more and more about recording. She won't know he loves her. She might be mad that he could have been there to be her dad. So, let's just go over the basic equipment you'll need in order to make a good recording for a YouTube video. Okay, so let's get to part one. The basic equipment you're going to need to make a good recording. Obviously, the very first thing you're going to need is a computer. You can't get around it, you're going to need a computer. Most people nowadays have a laptop, have a desktop. That's all you're going to need, nothing in particular. And nowadays, you don't even need anything really that powerful to make a good recording. Now, with the computer, you're also going to need that digital audio workstation, or a DAW. And now there are free ones that you can find online. If you own a Mac, which for the rest of this video I'll show you Garageband, comes free with Garageband. It is the most powerful free DAW that you could possibly have, and I just wish I would have known or had access to Garageband a decade ago when I started doing videos. But there's free ones, there's cheap ones, and then there's your super expensive ones, or by my standards, super expensive, where you have Pro Tools, Logic, Cubase, all those top DAWs. But again, those are just niceties. You don't have to get anything super expensive. You can get something free, or you can get something pretty cheap, under $100. You're going to need some kind of MIDI controller. And so that can just be a little 30 or 40 something key, $50 little keyboard that you get off of Amazon or off of eBay, or you go into your local music store and just get something small. Or it can be something like I have, which I'll go over later, a full 88 key. Does not need to be expensive. You just need a MIDI controller. Okay, so now let's go to part two, the equipment I use. So when I started recording music, like the number one question I had for when I was watching videos is, all right, what are they using? Like, how are they getting that sound? And what's their setup? And oh my God, just do a video showing me how you're doing these things and with what. And so that's what I'm going to go through now. And I have fallen into the same that same category of people, I've never really done a video or anything and showed you exactly the equipment I use. Now, I do answer questions. I answer every single comment of people who comment on my videos, and a lot of people will ask me, hey, what keyboard are you using, or things like that, in which case I answer in that fashion. But I've never really done a video it's like, well, here's my setup, here's how it's all plugged in which case nowadays it's all just quick plug and play, which is really convenient. So for my MIDI keyboard or my MIDI controller, what I do use is the Native Instruments Complete Control S88. Now, this keyboard runs about $1,000, and it is absolutely not the keyboard that I first started with, obviously. I started off with a little Yamaha that had MIDI in and out, but I didn't really know how to use MIDI. And so then I upgraded, after that little Yamaha, I upgraded to the Yamaha Motif. And I got the Motif because it had the best sound bank, because I was not real familiar with downloading instruments. And I couldn't really find a good piano sound to download. And so I, in a Guitar Center, I played a Yamaha Motif, and I was like, oh man, that's the most incredible like digital piano sound I've ever heard. And so I bought that workstation solely for the piano sound, not even knowing how to use the rest of the machine. In which case, I took that Yamaha Motif and I plugged it in to what's called an audio interface. And the audio interface that I use is the Apache Duet. You don't even need an audio interface anymore. But I have one, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. The mic I use is the... How do I not know what kind of mic I have? The mic that I use is the Rode NT1. And again, was not my starter mic. I just got a cheap $100 Shure microphone for my very first microphone. And that thing worked perfect for me. Again, you don't have to have an expensive microphone to start. You just need a quiet room. And that's really all you need to get a pretty decent sound in a microphone. I would recommend a pop filter. These things run anywhere from, you can get cheap ones, $10 bucks. They can get really expensive. You can just cut a circular section and put a pair of your girlfriend's pantyhose or something over it, and all that is going to stop those sounds from like blasting into your microphone. All right, lastly, I have some studio monitors. You can see it in the background. They're Yamahas. You just need computer speakers or headphones. A lot of my recordings, especially YouTube videos, are just done in headphones. I have a MacBook Pro for when I'm on the road or on trips or something like that. But a majority of my music recording is just done on my iMac here. You can get a baseline computer, and like I said, nowadays computers are so powerful, and in terms of music recording, you don't need anything super fancy. Just get a cheap $300-400 computer, get a free DAW or a really cheap DAW, a plug-in USB mic, a $100 little MIDI controller, and then you're on your way to making music. For example, now the rest of this video, we're just gonna switch over. I'm gonna go into Garageband, again, which comes free on any Mac, so sorry for Windows users. I don't own a Windows computer, but like I said, just Google free DAW, D-A-W, and a big list of free DAWs will come up. I guarantee you there will be YouTube tutorials of how to set up the DAWs. For the rest of this video, it will be geared towards Garageband, that free DAW that comes with any Mac. And I'll just show you that even with that basic setup, you can make some pretty good sounding music. And yeah, I'll be using my equipment, but this mic isn't anything special. The keyboard simply sends music note information, MIDI note information to Garageband. So this keyboard's doing nothing that yours wouldn't do. And then the instruments I'll be using for this video come stock with Garageband. Again, just so you can see that a pretty good recording can come from that.